think she really came to my life to teach me that. And she's so good at it. She really taught me some beautiful, valuable lessons. I discovered the concept of manifestation, the rules, the laws of the universe that actually govern our existence. And once you understand them, everything becomes a lot simpler. I actually added many other things that manifestation brings to the table. Welcome to Blisstopia podcast. I'm your host, Mercedes Castellani, life purpose coach, business owner, and your spiritual guide on all things mindset, manifestation, and purpose. This podcast is a space for deep reflections, meaningful conversations to help you expand your mind, dive into the depths of your soul, and create a life that makes you feel alive. Whether you're walking, driving, or simply vibing, take a deep breath and get ready to dive. Hello, my love. Welcome to another episode of Blisstopia podcast. I'm your host, Mercedes Castellani. And today I want to share with you how manifestation literally changed my life. And this is not an exaggeration. It literally changed my life. So I want to walk you through how my life looked like before I discovered manifestation and what happened once I discovered manifestation. And this is not a story of, oh my God, my life was terrible before and now it's so amazing. I just want to share with you how the whole goal setting process actually worked for me before I discovered manifestation, which were the kind of things that I was able to manifest from pure, deciding what my goals were, taking action, and that was just it. And the things that I was able to manifest and attract into my life. And what happened once I kept that, but I actually added many other things that manifestation brings to the table. So this is not like, oh my God, before my life was terrible and now it's just so fantastic. It's more, this is what I was able to achieve with goal setting, like regular goal setting only. And these are the kind of things that I've been able to manifest now that I've added a lot of the things that manifestation actually brings to the table. So let's rewind back in time. And I want to share with you how my life looked like, how my goal setting processes looked like before I discovered manifestation. So I have been setting goals for myself since I was 15. I had this little cute pink diary, and every year in the month of January, I would sit and I would write my goals for that year. It was usually around, for example, moving forward in my studies or my career. It was usually around love. It was usually around losing weight because I didn't have the best body image back then. So it was usually those kind of things. Imagine what a teenager might want. You want to do good in high school, you want to look good. Because, mind you, I didn't have the best relationship with my body back then. You want to find love. And it was kind of like the usual thing. So I would do this every year in January. Then I would actually evaluate in June how I was actually doing. Was I on track or not? And kind of reassess if I needed to change something. And then in December, do like a final evaluation. Like right before the holiday season, I would sit and I would be like, okay, what happened this year? Did I actually achieve my goals or not? And then I would do that over and over again. And I've had this little diary since I was 15. I'm 35 now. So that little diary is still there somewhere in my office. It's still there. I don't do this process anymore, but I think I've done it for probably 10 years or more. Every year in January, setting the goals, evaluating in June, and then assessing in June how I was, tracking progress in June, and then really evaluating the final results in December. And this was kind of like a fun thing to do. I actually enjoyed the process of setting those goals, being intentional. It was a nice journaling moment. I would take several hours to do it during the holidays. So it was really something that I actually enjoyed doing. So it was really nice. And basically, with this very, very simple method, so setting my intentions, setting my goals, and then taking a lot of action during the year, I was actually able to manifest many things and achieve many things, I would say. I was a top 5% student in high school. I always had fantastic grades. I was admitted, as a consequence of those grades, I was admitted in the best business school in Argentina. We had a very, very intense exam period for over 1 year. We had a bunch of exams, we had a bunch of exercises, a bunch of things. And I was admitted into the best business school in Argentina with a 100% scholarship, meaning that I went to this business school and I did not pay for that business school because my parents could not afford that business school for me. But I was able to enter because of this relentless, goal setting and taking action. I studied in this business school, San Andres, for 4 years. And by the end of those 4 years, I was the best student in business administration during that year. So during my promotion, I was the best student in business administration. So that was a really, really nice achievement as well. I decided at some point during the end of my studies that I wanted to do marketing in the world of wine. So that orientation for my career came actually very soon in my life. And I realized over during the third, fourth year of university that I wanted to do marketing in the wine industry. So that was my goal. And my first job was marketing in the wine industry. So I got exactly the job that I wanted in the biggest company in Argentina. It's the number one in Argentina, number 10 today in the world, probably one of the top 3 or 5 in Latin America. I would have to just check the statistics, but it still definitely is the biggest wine group in Argentina. After that, I was admitted, I worked for them for 1 year. And then I decided that I actually wanted to move to Europe. And I applied for a master in the top 3 business school in France, which is called ESCP. And I was admitted into this business school because of the fantastic grades that I had back in university. And then, of course, once I was already, I finished my master's, I started working again in the wines and spirits industry in France. And with this kind of like simple method that I had of setting my intentions and then taking a lot of action, I got several promotions. I went from junior brand manager to senior brand manager to group manager, et cetera, all the way until marketing director. So this method, arguably, and this is what most people do, you decide what you want, you probably write them down. Some people actually create a little vision board, but this is what most people do. This is the way we set goals, right? We think with our minds, we write them on paper, and then we take action. And then at some point, we evaluate, did this happen or not? So, mind you, this process, it actually worked and it gave me some beautiful, beautiful achievements. But if you actually pay attention, all of these achievements were related to my studies or related to work. So it was either getting fantastic grades in high school, getting fantastic grades in university. It was entering into some of these really prestigious business schools in Argentina and in France. It was getting the job that I wanted, getting the promotions that I wanted, getting some salary raises that I wanted along the way. So it was all studies and work related. So this method, at least in my lived experience, it worked for studies and for work. And it was based on taking a lot of action. So again, I would write the goals and then take massive action during the year. I was relentless. I was always studying or working, doing my best. It was a lot of action. Now, two things are happening here. First of all, this is all the achievements that I was able to create with this method. They were only related to studies and work. But on other areas of my life was a disaster. My love life was a disaster. I had toxic relationship after toxic relationship or very short-lived relationships in which I would fall in love, but the guys only wanted to have fun. And I was always end up in heartbreak. And it was just like horrible. suffering after suffering after suffering after suffering. So my life was a complete disaster. And then my health was not on point. I was eating too much sugar. I was doing some exercise, but I wasn't really consistent. So I wasn't really at the peak of my health and at the peak of my vitality. So this method was useful for studies and work, but it was not useful to be completely happy, to have a fantastic love life, to have a fantastic health. It was not enough. It was okay. It did bring me many things. And I'm grateful for setting those intentions. And I'm grateful for the past version of myself who would wake up early and study or stay a little bit later at work to do that extra thing and go that extra mile. I am very grateful. And this method gave me some things, but it's not enough. And the thing is that writing your goals and taking action is just not enough. It's not enough for those big dreams and desires that you have in your heart. So, yes, you can achieve some things. Yes, you will probably move forward. It's actually better to do this than to do nothing. I'd rather have you do this than do nothing. But there's actually so much more than we can do, and so many more things that we can call into our lives and create in our lives. So, this is actually before I discovered manifestation. In 2020, 2021, I started becoming more familiar with manifestation, the concept of manifestation, which is how do we bring desires and dreams into our tangible reality. It's a process. How do we go from an idea to a reality, from a dream to a reality? So in 2020, 2021, I discovered the concept of manifestation, the rules, the laws of the universe that actually govern our existence. And once you understand them, everything becomes a lot simpler. I discovered a 5-step process to manifest anything that you want in your life. And basically, I started manifesting so much more. So, yes, the promotions were still coming. Once I knew these manifestation principles, I became a marketing director. Yes, the salary raises were still coming. Actually, when the company decided that I was going to be the marketing director, I started making 100K a year. So I had a 6-figure salary in total. So fixed plus the bonus, I had a 6-figure salary. So yes, those things were still happening, but I actually starting to call into my life things that I had desired for so long and that were absolutely impossible to achieve with the method that I had. And I remember thinking, but what is wrong with my love life? I mean, with studies, with work, you put in the work, you do the action, you do what you need to do, and then things just happen. It just clicks. And I was like, in my love life, I don't know what I need to do. Like, what do I need to change? What do I need to do? Which actions do I need to take so that my life is different? And it was not any different. It was a disaster after disaster after disaster after disaster. So when I discovered manifestation, I started manifesting beautiful things that I had dreamt for so long. And manifestation has a 5-step process. And I'm going to walk you in detail through this process on the masterclass that I'm organizing on Sunday, 14th of December, 2025, where I'm going to teach you how to manifest your dreams for 2026. So I'm going to go really in detail with this 5-step process. But for the purpose of this podcast, I want to share with you how I started applying some parts of that process. If you're interested about the whole thing, the whole purpose, come to the masterclass this Sunday, 14th of December, 2025, and I'm going to share with you the whole process. So once I discovered manifestation, I started calling in things that were literally absolute dreams that had been in my heart for so long. So first of all, I found my purpose and I went all in on my business. And in order to do this, I had to get very clear on what I wanted. So, what is my purpose actually in life? What did I came here to do? How can I serve? How can I help? How can I have an impact in the world? I needed to get really clear on how I wanted to feel. And I wanted to feel light. I wanted to feel fun. I wanted to feel peaceful every day. And at the same time, excited for the things that I need to do, which is exactly how I feel today, for example. And then I also had to take a lot of action, relentless action. First of all, to find my purpose. Once I found my purpose as a coach, helping women be happier, I had to train myself as a coach. Then I started doing some sessions with people. Then I had to set up my business. Then I had to grow a business. So there was also action. But first, I needed to get really clear on what I wanted for my life, for this lifetime, how I wanted to feel, and then take relentless action in that direction. So I was able to find my purpose and go all in on my dreams. I was able to, once I was in the game, once I went all in on my business, I was able to create a successful and sustainable business. So for that, it took me all 5 steps of the manifestation process. I had to get really clear on what I wanted. So, what was success for me actually? How do we define success? Is it an amount of money? Is it feeling? Is it a number of women that I'm actually changing their lives? Is it having interesting conversations and collaborations? What is actually success for me? How do I measure success? So I had to get really clear on what success was for me. I had to get really clear on how I was going to feel once I would have this business or have the business at this level. I had to do a lot of embodiment. Embodiment is when you actually become the woman that already has this thing. And I think this was the biggest piece, literally becoming the woman that already has a successful, sustainable business. So that was huge. I would say this was the biggest part. Of course, take a lot of action. And then at some point, you need to surrender because you have no clue how it's going to go. You hope for the best, you do the best, you remain positive. You remain positive even when it's freaking hard. But at some point, you just need to surrender and trust that the universe is going to catch you and that the clients appear and that everything is okay. So I was able to create a successful and sustainable business using all 5 steps of the manifestation process. But most importantly, the embodiment, becoming the woman that already had that business before the business was at the level that I wanted it to be. So that was a huge, huge, huge shift and a huge manifestation because, of course, you can imagine that when I quit my job, I was so scared. What if it doesn't work out? What if I don't make it past the first year? And here we are, thriving with a beautiful, successful, sustainable business. So that still is a major manifestation for me. Of course, there's new level. I'm going to go deeper. I'm going to go way further. And I feel like this is only the beginning, but my business is doing very well. Another manifestation, and I think this one is, wow, a major one, was finding the love of my life and getting engaged. Thank you. I had been single for so many years, and then I had all of these terrible relationships in which I would fall in love. They only wanted to have fun, or I would have these toxic relationships. And then when I found manifestation, I was actually able to say, first of all, we're letting go of all of this shit that doesn't belong in my life, all of these low vibration relationships that make me feel really bad. And I think here, the part that really helped me manifest the love of my life and getting engaged was getting really clear on the vibration of this manifestation. To be completely transparent with you, I think for many years I had been vibrating at a frequency of lack of love, not having the love that I wanted. There was a desire for love. There was a sadness that I didn't have the love that I wanted. There was sometimes a little bit of hope, but I was vibrating at a frequency of not having the love that I wanted. And when I got really clear on this, and this is where manifestation really helped me, I understood, how do I want to feel once I'm going to have this partner? And what came to me was, it's yes, it's love, but very, very granular. To me, it was tenderness and coziness, just feeling really cozy. So basically what I did at that point, it was because I wanted to feel this way. I wanted to feel tenderness. I wanted to feel cozy. I started actually feeling my life with love. And I started opening up to the idea that love was not only coming from and to a partner, but there was actually love everywhere. There was love to my body. There was love from myself to my family. There was love to my friends. There was love to my home. There was love to my pet. There was love from my friends, from my family, from the universe, if you want to call it that way. So there was so much. I started opening up to the idea that there was so much love around me. So I was vibrating in love. And then this person appeared into my life. And he was just one more venue for me to express that love and to receive that love. But it's just one more venue. It's not the only one. So this is where manifestation really helped, because I'm trying to do in my love life. I'm doing this thing, I'm doing this other thing. Why is it not working? And it was actually because I had to vibrate at a different frequency. And the same in the early stages of my business. I was doing, 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 doing. And then I added all of the other elements of manifestation. And it was like, okay, but do you know what you want? Do you know how you're going to feel? Are you the woman that already has these things? And are you fully, fully trusting the universe and the process? And the answer was no. So therefore, at the very beginning, my business wasn't where I wanted it to be. I had to really include all the other parts of manifestation. And now my business is at the level where I want it to be. Now, of course, I want more. So, and then with love, it was the same. I'm doing, doing, doing. Why is it not working? Because I was missing a piece around vibration. How are you going to feel once this manifestation comes into your life? I was missing that piece. And therefore, when I started vibrating at a frequency of love, I was love. There was love in and out everywhere in my life. I started taking care of my body. I was very intentional with my friends and my family. I turned my home into a sanctuary. That was when Amore came into my life. Amore means love in Italian. She was part of that manifestation, really bringing the energy of love into my life. And I've recently seen a post where they say that animals are our spirit guides and they come to teach us something. And I think Amore really came to my life to teach me love, what it is to, yeah, I'm gonna get emotional, what it is to love someone, what it is to take care of someone, what it is to soak in the pureness of love and in the pureness of presence. And when you have that connection with someone, whether that's a person or a pet, it's just so special, so special. And I think she really came to my life to teach me that. And she's so good at it. She really taught me some beautiful, valuable lessons. So that was one major manifestation, finding the love of my life, getting engaged. Another major manifestation, and this one happened this year, was getting pregnant. And this one is actually very funny because I see many women who go into pregnancy from a place of action, from a place of control. So, when is it going to happen and how it's going to happen and what do I need to do, etc. And yes, mind you, we did take some action, we did prepare our bodies for pregnancy, etc. But I think the whole pregnancy journey it's just a huge act of surrender. You literally have no control whatsoever over nothing. You have zero control. You have no control about when you get pregnant. You have no control on whether that pregnancy is going to be a viable pregnancy that stays after 3 months. You have no control of how that baby is going to evolve. You have no control over the date, the due date. The baby just comes when the baby is ready to come. You have no control over how the baby is going to be, whether the baby is going to sleep well or not, eat well or not. You have zero control. So for me, I think having all of this manifestation framework in my heart, I really went into pregnancy in full surrender mode. I was like, okay, we've prepared our bodies, we've done the best that we could do. And now it's time to have fun and surrender. And it's going to happen when it's going to happen. And it happened in the first trial. So we were very, very lucky. But I was very relaxed in the fact that it could take a couple of months, and that was totally fine. I was 34 when I got pregnant. So I was not like super, super, super young. So I was like, okay, maybe it takes a couple of months. And I was very relaxed about it. I was like, okay, if it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 months, fine. And it happened on the first trial. And then once I got pregnant and that manifestation was here, I was like, okay, now I have two choices. I can either get anxious about absolutely everything in the pregnancy, I can be anxious for the next 9 months, or I can just trust that my body knows exactly what it's doing. I can trust that there's a little soul that wants to come into planet Earth. And if we got pregnant so quickly, it's because this is just meant to happen. And I've been in this full surrender mode before getting pregnant. And now that I've been pregnant for 4 months. And there are some days, of course, when I'm like, oh my God, is this normal? Why am I feeling this? Da, da, da. Feeling this physically. I have a physical sensation. I'm like, oh my God, is this normal? And then I'm like, Mercedes, you have two choices. You can either stress about this or you can trust. And I'm really leaning very consciously. I'm normally in a very in trust mode, but if I go back into anxiety, I really coach myself and I'm like, okay, no, Mercedes, we're going back into trust mode now and everything's going to be okay. And so far, everything has been fantastic. So, getting pregnant, I think the fact that I was so embodied in the work of manifestation really helped to navigate all of this. And then the fifth manifestation that I was able to call in, create in my life, thanks to the framework of manifestation, is just a fantastic health. So I eat very healthy. I was able to finally quit sugar after decades of sugar addiction. I think now I can see that I was actually addicted to sugar and that we can actually use those words. So I was able to quit sugar and have a very normal consumption of sugar. I do sports 3 times per week. I reduced alcohol to very little on the weekends before pregnancy. Of course, now during pregnancy, it's zero alcohol, but I reduced alcohol a lot. I'm prioritizing rest. And as a consequence of this, I have great vitality. I feel fantastic in my body and I have so much life force in my body, not just for me, but now for two human beings, for me and for my baby. So I consider this a manifestation. Health is a value for me. If we don't have health, we don't have anything. So health is so important for me. So because of manifestation, I was actually able to really have habits in place, but not from a place of obligation. I don't feel obliged to do sports. I don't feel obliged to eat healthy. I don't feel obliged to ditch sugar. I actually do this because I've made this my identity. I consider myself a healthy person, and this is what healthy people do. They eat healthy, they eat little sugar, they drink very little alcohol or no alcohol at all, they do sports, they rest. So I've changed my identity So this was an exercise of embodiment, really becoming the woman that has this identity. I am a healthy person. Therefore, all of these things are just natural to me and they're part of my everyday life, and they will continue to be for decades until I die. I plan to live this way. I plan to be a healthy person until I die. So, all of these things, I wouldn't have been able to do it without manifestation, finding my purpose, creating my business, going all in on my business. Once I was there in the game, creating a successful and sustainable business, finding the love of my life, getting engaged, getting pregnant, having a fantastic health and a vital body. So, all of these things, it wouldn't have been possible without manifestation. Mind you, that with goal setting only, I was doing all the things that were related to studies and to work, but my life was a mess. I don't think I would have been able to get pregnant, maybe. My health wasn't so good. I wouldn't have been able to create the success that I've been able to create in my business. So I do attribute all of these other things to manifestation. Yes, there is still action for all of them, all five. There's still action, but there's so much more than that. Now I know exactly what I want for each of these things. Now I know exactly how I'm going to feel when I get these things. Now I become the woman who already has these things. I take relentless action, of course, and then I just surrender to the process and to the universe. So, this is why I am so passionate about manifestation, because it really does allow you to bring these dreams that you've had in your heart for so long and you just didn't know how to bring them to reality. It does allow you to bring you these things into real life. So manifestation goes so much deeper than just pure goal setting, you know? You need to work on your beliefs, you need to work on your emotions, you need to work on your identity, you need to work on your trust with the universe, God, source, however you want to call it. So manifestation does go so much deeper. The process is deeper, but therefore you can actually create fantastic things into your life that you cannot create from intention setting and taking action. And this is why I'm so passionate about manifestation. And this is why I'm actually organizing a masterclass for you, a free masterclass, which is called Manifest Your Dreams in 2026, the secret to setting New Year's resolutions that actually work, because we're not going to set intentions and then do the same thing that, we always do, and then it doesn't work. Here, we're going to do things differently. I'm going to teach you how to set New Year's resolutions that actually work so that you can truly manifest your dreams in 2026. So we're doing this on Sunday 14th at 6 p.m. European time or 5 p.m. UK time. And during this session, I will teach you the exact process to set intentions for the new year and actually bring them to fruition. So you can join us now if you want to learn a way to really set your intentions for 2026 and learn more about manifestation. We will cover 3 reasons why New Year's resolutions often don't work, 5 mistakes to avoid when setting intentions for the new year, how to set intentions in a way that actually works, the 5 steps that I was talking about manifestation so that you can manifest your dreams in 2026. So once we cover all of that content, then I'm going to guide a really powerful meditation and intention setting session for you so that we can really anchor and we can really feel things, because it's not about thinking. Thinking gets you only a little bit further ahead. I want you to smash your goals for 2020, manifest all of your dreams for 2026. So we're going to anchor all of this with a powerful meditation and intention setting session. So this is a free live masterclass that will take place on December 14th, 2025 at 6 p.m. European time, 5 p.m. UK time, and it's going to last 90 minutes. So you will have the link in the show notes to register. We already have over 60 women who have registered, so I'm so excited that we're going to have such a big and beautiful crew ready to manifest. It's going to be really powerful. Every time people gather and we do meditations together, the energy is so powerful. If you've been on my masterclasses, you know that the energy is so, so, so potent. So get ready to be mind blown. Register using the link in the show notes. If you're hearing this episode live, so on Friday, register now because the masterclass is on Sunday. So you basically have 48 hours to get in there and to join us live. So thank you so much for joining on this beautiful episode. I've really enjoyed sharing all of this with you, spending this time with you. I will see you in the masterclass and in the next episode. And in the meantime, in Blisstopia we trust.